What's going on, everybody? I am your host, the Financial Conspirator, your guide for everything financials and conspiracies. Today, we're going to be going over the recent macroeconomic and geopolitical events that we've been seeing in the Bitcoin and MSTR space, starting immediately with this.
There are a lot of different actors that held on to some Bitcoin in some fashion or another. Now the process begins in terms of establishing the reserve, the actual infrastructure behind it, and getting all of that accomplished. There's nothing in the EO that mandates that report become public, but we could choose to make it public at some point. And we are certainly keen on the idea of accumulation. We've stated publicly that Bitcoin is digital gold. We believe it's in the best interest of the United States to garner as much as we can possibly get. I've said that at every conference that I've spoken at in the last 2 to 3 months. Now, obviously, this has to be done in budget-neutral ways that don't cost the taxpayer a dime. The president was clear about that in the executive order. But I think we have some very creative minds, 2 of which are sitting up here with me. And I think we'll begin moving very quickly on that.
Right, and that to me sounds like when he says we don't have to make that public, that to me sounds like we're already buying Bitcoin. We just might not be telling you. Because why would you tell your adversaries that you're actively accumulating? That's stupid, because then they would start actively accumulating. And then the price would go up because there's more demand and there's less supply. And it would be harder to accumulate more. So you accumulate in silence. You let the world think you're not accumulating. That would be pretty genius. Not saying that's exactly what they're doing, because we know the United States is nowhere near genius.
First of all, you have a 21-year head start. You know something 99.8% of the capital in the world does not yet know, right? You know that this thing is unstoppable. You know that everybody needs it, and very few people understand it. That's the most valuable information in the world. If I told you Bitcoin was going to 21 million tomorrow, that's not useful. It's too late. I'm giving you something much more valuable. I'm giving you 21 years to leverage that information while everybody else is oblivious, while everybody else is afraid, while everybody else is distracted. You can do something.
I think that's a great point, because I see a lot of people who might get discouraged from their favorite financial guru talking down on Bitcoin, saying they don't understand it, they don't get it, they don't understand why strategy trades at a premium. And that should not dissuade you. That should make you want to study it more. That should strengthen your conviction, because that just means that person is going to have to buy at a higher price from you, if you're looking to sell, that is. But everyone will get Bitcoin at the price they deserve. 99.8% of the world doesn't know that they need Bitcoin, but they do. They all need it. Infinite demand, limited supply. What happens to price after that is only inevitable.
Our view is that banks get to decide who their customers are. That's not our decision. And so banks are free to provide banking services to the crypto industry, to crypto companies. And banks are also free to conduct crypto activities as long as they do so in a way that is, protective of safety and soundness.
Again, demand is increasing and the supply is fixed. What happens to price? There's only going to be more adoption. You're not going to see less adoption. You're not going to see less countries with a Bitcoin reserve. It's only going to increase. As long as money is competing, as long as there are 2 forms of money competing, there will be a necessity for Bitcoin. Just like as long as there are cars, as long as there is construction, there will be a need for oil and steel. There will be a need for financial sovereignty. These people print dollars, force their use by violence, and then weaponize your access to those pieces of paper through sanctions and three-letter organizations like the IMF, the WEF, or the World Bank. So as long as fiat exists, as long as the Ponzi of fiat exists, there will be demand for Bitcoin.
All about. But they'll say, well, hope. Say, okay, show me the physical manifestation of hope. Can I hold hope? Where's hope? It's like Bitcoin, the fact that you can't physically hold it in your hand is not really a meaningful consideration when you're talking about what changes society. The beauty and the aesthetic inherent in the protocol appeals to our shared aesthetic in a way that motivates people to be better people than they thought they could ever be. And I know as a politician, you want your constituents to strive to be better people and to create a better community. Bitcoin is the ladder up to a higher state of consciousness and a much better society that you can help your people achieve. I've never
I think Max Kaiser is absolutely correct here as well. It reminds me of Safedine Ammous when he said, Bitcoin is a choice in the same way that gunpowder is a choice. You don't have a choice when it comes to Bitcoin. Either you're using it and you're gaining and you're taking advantage of the fiat system, or you're not using Bitcoin and the fiat system is taking advantage of you. And so what we're seeing here is a monetary reset. And I'm going to give you the playbook. So phase one is institutional ETF and Treasury Demand. That's getting IBIT, FBTC. I think that is what pushed us to 100,000 to the 250,000 range. Phase two would be China, Russia, BRICS, Iran, all these guys using nuclear thermal energy to mine Bitcoin and accumulate as much as possible. That would be the 400 to 700,000 per Bitcoin range. And then the global monetary reset, where everything is based on Bitcoin as the base layer, and value is then denominated in Bitcoin, where we're pricing things in Satoshis and paying for things in Satoshis. Things of that nature. And right now, we are in a transition from phase one to phase two. I think 2032, 2028 will be quite amazing, in my humble opinion. And here we have Saylor explaining why Bitcoin will remain volatile throughout all of that.
Mainstream investors are invested in it. The volatility will damp, but the volatility of the S&P is the VIX. It's 16. Bitcoin's going to be 21. Bitcoin's always going to be more volatile because it's more useful, because it's more pure, right? And because it's more leverageable, because you'll have more capabilities and you'll be able to do more with it everywhere in the world. It will be raw economic energy, and that's okay. Volatility is vitality.
And he's absolutely right. You cannot send someone in Africa 0.35 shares of the S&P 500 right now and directly to them with no middleman. That's just not possible. You can't do that with gold. You can't do that with Apple. You can't do it with Walmart. You can't do it with anything. You can't do that with silver in 10 minutes. It's not possible. Bitcoin makes it possible. That's why it will always be more volatile. That's why it will always outperform. And that's why there is no second best. Okay? And the supply shock, getting a little bit in the game theory here. There's only 2.3 million Bitcoin left to be mined. With treasuries, institutional FOMO, Bitcoin treasury companies like Strategy, MetaPlanet, we are going to see that shock that we've been hearing about since 2020. I know. I hate talking about it. I hate hearing about it. But it's goddamn inevitable. So, early adopting nations benefit, El Salvador, and the latecomers will lose purchasing power. They will be the countries and companies that are announcing that they have been able to purchase 1 Bitcoin for their balance sheet. 1 Bitcoin is going to be such a milestone. It already is today, but for nation states, it will be a milestone to own 1 Bitcoin. And I don't think people are truly prepared for that sort of thing mentally. I think that's just sort of some far-stretched thing. If the United States is saying that we don't have to publicly announce if we're buying Bitcoin, I mean, come on. And I will finish with this, another Sailor clip.
It's too late. It's too late. You did it, but, if I'd done it back in 2013 or done it in 2020 or done it whenever, it's too late. But here's what I have to say. Henry Ford decided to harness fire 1,000,000 years after human beings discovered fire. It was not too late. It's not too late to use the wheel. It's not too late to master explosives. It's not too late. If you need a gun and someone invented a gun 500 years ago, you're not going to say, well, I guess it's too late for me. Or how about English? Someone learned English before you. It's too late. It's an old language. I guess it's not that useful anymore. Or to fly. I'm not the first person to fly. There's another company in my town. They installed electricity. It's too late for my company. After all, someone else installed electricity first. I don't really need electricity. It's too late. Or the mobile phone. Too late to use a computer. Too late to get on the internet. Too late to go to space. It's too late to buy a Bitcoin. Here's what they're missing. Bitcoin's technology. It's not a speculation. It's the ignorant speculators that think it's too late because they don't understand that it's digital energy, it's digital technology. It's never too late to master technology. And I would leave you with the thought, it's never too late to do the right thing. I mean, it's very simple.
In the last couple of videos that I posted, I stated that this could be the last time you're seeing Bitcoin under 100,000. And when we saw the whole Iran thing happen, there was a brief flash crash to about, I think, 97, 98. And within 2-3 hours, back above 100,000. I couldn't even buy under 100,000. So it's starting to look more and more like a reality. You should be taking this very seriously. Every day that you aren't buying Bitcoin, someone else is. And they're probably locking it away on cold storage. So take advantage of knowing something that 99.8% of the world doesn't know. You are so unbelievably early, but now is the time to take advantage. None of this is financial advice. Please like, subscribe, and share the video to someone you think needs to hear this. I'll see you guys next time. I'm out.